Hello, fashion lovers. You're welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time of coming across this page, please like, share, and subscribe, all right, for more fashion content. So, on today's episode on Styles by Guinevere, we'll be learning how to draft or and sew these shorts mini kimono gown. As you can see, this gown has a zipper on the front part of the gown, and it is an extended shoulder that is not that free, and it also have about 5 to 6 inches gathers on the sleeve parts. So without wasting much of your time, these are my materials, the materials I'll be using for this gown. As you can see, so this is the main material, the main fabric I'll be using, and this is for the gathers on the sleeve part. Of course, this is my zipper. This is a 40 inches zip. Yeah, a 40 inches zip. Of course, my scissors, my thread, my mask, my tape rule, and my lining. Oh yes, my lining. So my client says she needs me to make this dress with a lining. Who am I to refuse? So yes, this is it. And without wasting much of your time, let's go into the drafting proper. So I'll be making use of 2.5 yards of material for this gown. Yes, so let's start drafting. On the front part of the gown, you can notice there is a zipper there. So before we start drafting, we are going to take we're going to take out 1 inch allowance for our zipper. So on this front part, yes, I'm going to rule out my 1 inch for my zipper allowance. So just watch as I mark. I'm going to mark it first. Then I'm going to rule it. So the next thing for us to do now is to take our shoulder measurement and our sleeve measurement. Remember, this is an extended shoulder. Extended shoulder means you are going to cut your shoulder and your sleeve together. You're not going to cut your sleeve separately. You are going to cut it together. And because on this dress, we have about 6 to 5 inches gathers on the sleeve, on the down part of the sleeve. So when I measured my shoulder and my sleeve, I got 21 inches. So when I'm going to minus 5 inches now for that gathers part, I'll be left with 16 inches. So here, this is me imputing my 16 inches for both my shoulder and my sleeve. So after that, I'm going to mark out 1 inch from on the top of my fabric. Mark out 1 inches for our guideline. This reason is for us to have an even M line while drafting. You get? So after doing that now, we're going to impute our neck measurements. So as you can see, I'm going to take neck measurement of width of 3 inches and the depth 3 inches as well. So you can see. So now I'm going to connect it. I'm going to connect it. My chalk is not that visible. So you can see. So after connecting it, now the next thing for us to do is to come down by 1 inches on that shoulder for the shoulder slope. Get so that is it. You're going to come down by 1 inches, then connect back to the neckline with a straight ruler, just like so. The reason for this shoulder slope is because our shoulders are usually not straight; they are a bit slanted or slopy. Now, after connecting, the next thing for us to do is to take our shoulder to our armhole. Remember, this is a kimono, but it is not that free. It is a bit tight on the armhole. So normally for kimono, I would have taken 10 inches for kimono, but I'm going to come down by 8 or 9 inches. So after sewing 1 inches, it will go up a bit. It will be a bit tight, not that tight, but a bit tight. So I'm going to measure, I'm going to take around 9 inches now. You can go ahead and take 8 inches, or you can just do your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. Take your normal shoulder to armhole measurements. So I've taken it now. The next thing for us to do now is to take our shoulder to waist, shoulder to hip, and shoulder to the length of our gown. So I'm going to go ahead now and take my measurement. My shoulder to waist measurement is 17. I'm going to mark and so the next thing we are going to do is just to connect a straight line from your armhole line up to your shoulder line. Then having done that, now we are going to use this line we ruled now from our shoulder to our armhole line. That will now serve as our chest or our bust line. As you can see, I've ruled it. So this is now our bust line. Now we are going to start taking our measurements. We're going to take our bust divided by 4. The bust I'm using is 37 divided by 4 is 9.28 plus 2 inches for ease allowance and 1 inch for sewing allowance. Remember, it's not a very tight nor a very free kimono. And make sure while sewing, you use up to 1 inch to sew your gown. Then after that, we are going to impute our waist measurement of 32 inches divided by 4. We have 8 plus 2 inches for ease and 1 inch for sewing allowance. After that now, the next thing to do is to take your hip measurement of 41 inches divided by 4. We got 10/2/8, 10.28 plus 2 inches for ease and 1 inch for sewing allowance. So the next thing we are going to do now, the measurement you got on your hip line, place your tape and measure it. Then place that same measurement on the hem of your gown, on the hem of your dress. So what we got on our hip was 6.8 inches. So we are going to place it on the hem of our dress. And you can also decide to, after placing it, you can also decide to go out by 2 or 3 inch, as the case may be, if you want it that free on the lower part of the gown. But I think I went out by 1 inch. So now I'm going to connect my lines for you to see. So I went out by 1 inch on the hem line. I think my chalk is not that visible because of so many patterns on this material. I'm just going to connect them very, very well so they can be very, very visible for us to see. Okay. So I think this is better. Reconnected the line. So after doing that now, the next thing for us to do is to start cutting. I'm going to cut out the neck and the shoulder and the sides. I'm sorry I couldn't capture this part. I didn't know why recording. I didn't know my camera didn't capture this very, very well. All the same, if you follow this tutorial very well, you're going to understand what we did. So I'm going to cut out now. So after cutting it out, now the next thing we are going to do now is to place the back part of our gown, then use this front part to cut out the back part of our gown. So this is the back part of our gown. Remember, the only difference between the front part and the back part is that the back part doesn't have a zipper allowance and the neck depth of the back part is 1.5. But the front part has a zipper allowance and the neck depth is 3 inches. So we are going to place the front on the back. But before doing that, before cutting out, we are this 1 inch zipper allowance we left on the front part of this gown. We are going to fold it out. We are going to fold it out. Yes, this place, we are going to fold it out because we do not need it for the back parts. As you can see, the way I'm doing it now, I'm going to fold it out like this. So now after folding, the next thing to do is to take the neck depth of the back of this dress of 1.5 and the width remains 3 inches. So I'm going to connect. So after connecting, I'm going to connect to the shoulder as well. I'm going to use the front shoulder to cut the back part as well. So let's cut. So the next thing that we are going to do now is to cut open the zipper allowance on the front part of this gown. Just like you see me doing now. I'm going to cut it just like so. So as you can see, it's now open. This is where I'm going to fix my zipper. That is my zip. So after doing that now, I'm going to cut my lining because I'm going to be using lining to make this gown. I'll be cutting my lining the exact way I cut the main fabric or the material. So as you can see, I'm done cutting my lining. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut open the front part of this gown of the lining, just like I did for the main material. So after doing that now, the next thing we are going to do is to cut the lower part of the sleeve, which is that gathers at the sleeve part now. So what we are going to do now is to measure that your elbow round, where the sleeve, you are going to start the joining of the main sleeve and this gathers now. You're going to measure it on your arm. So mine measurement is 13. I mean, the measurement I'm working with is 13 inches. I'm going to divide it into 3. You can either divide it by 2 or 3 or 4, depending on how full you want your gathers to be. So 13 inches divided by 3, I got 39 inches. Then I added extra 1 inches for sewing allowance, or yes, for sewing allowance. So dear soulmates, we are done with the drafting of this gown. As you can see, this is the lining we'll be using for this dress, and this is the strap we'll be using for the lower part of the sleeves. So if you know or you feel this video was entertaining and helpful to you, please do it to give this video a thumbs up, comment and share this video. And also, if you have a question, let me know on the comment section. Thank you very much.